Hello, Mrs. Johns. I'm Bryan Gailhart here. And do you know anything about the United States? From the early 1900s to World War II? Let's learn it today. Early 1900s, United States. What was life like in the United States back then? What did people do for entertainment? Like now we have cell phones, tablets, computers, TVs, and surround sounds, and especially the internet as well. But what did they have in the 1900s? Take a look at this picture. I see. So people go to the theaters in order to watch movies in black and white and no sound. How different is that? There were many new forms of entertainment emerging in the early 1900s, like film and vaudeville. Vaudeville theater could include comedians, dancers, and magicians. Baseball became popular. Many people would spend their free time watching or playing. The radio appeared in homes in the 1920s. People could listen to the news, sports, music, or radio shows like comedies or mysteries. For technology, the technology we have now is cars that can auto-drive, GPSs where you can go anywhere, and it's on the electric. But now we have trucks, planes, helicopters, bullet trains, and rockets. I saw a rocket 3 days ago. But I wonder what they had in the 1900s. Take a look at this picture. This is where they build the cars and vehicles in order to go somewhere. In the early 20th century, the assembly line became a key feature in manufacturing. This allowed more goods to be produced at one time. Communication technology had improved with the addition of the telephone. Cars, streetcars, and bicycles were now available for people to travel locally and out of town. And electricity was available in cities and towns, like we have now. 1920s, Florida. Land boom. What's a land boom? Oh, I know what a land boom is. A land boom is when many people migrate to one area and upgrade the city. Like New York, it didn't look that great, but now it looks amazing with billboards that have commercials on them, and the Times Square has upgraded as well. The Times Square looks amazing. Cause. Take a look at this picture. She's getting into a car. Wait, does that mean people had more access to cars and trains? So that means that more families were visiting Florida because of the cars and trains. And because Florida is very beautiful, that's why they want to go there. Cause. Take a look at this photo. People are harvesting crops. People in the United States were making more money. That means they can build more cities. This allowed people to travel to Florida or buy land in Florida. So the land boom is going to change to the bust. And plus, what is a bust? A bust, I know what a bust means. A bust means that America is going broke. So, let's check on the cause. Take a look at this picture. People are lining up to work or get food. Land spectaculars had caused the cost of goods and services to increase too much. People in the United States couldn't afford the basics. That's called inflation. And now let's check on the effect. Take a look at this picture. This place is going out of business. People could not afford the cost of living, which means that they could not afford food and rent. be really, really hungry. Cause land prices had risen to a level that people could no longer afford. In effect, there were no more buyers for homes. That means they would live in tents or cars. That's really uncomfortable if I was in that. 1930s, the Great Depression. Life in the United States. Many companies went out of business and people lost their jobs. Migrants traveled across the country looking for work. Some found work on farms, but the pay was very low. In cities, men lined up for hours for the possibility of a day's work. People lost homes because they had no money to pay for them. Some lived in tents close to other families. Food was difficult to afford because people had less money. People led hunger marches to ask the government for help. Thousands of people across the country lined up at soup kitchens or bread lines for a meal. Wow. 1940s, World War II. I think World War II is cool. Roles of Florida. The war helped Florida and the country get out of the Great Depression. The various industries that had been struggling during the Great Depression were now growing. Agriculture and manufacturing increased. The military became a large part of the state's economy and the country's economy. This economic improvement ended the Great Depression. Florida provided the war effort with ships and boats. The Mosquito Fleet protected the shores. Citizens grew victory gardens to increase food production. World War II brought an end to the Great Depression and brought economic stability to the great country. Thank you so much, Mrs. Johns. Wish you have a wonderful day. I'm Bryan Gailhart signing off on FLVS News. Bye!